Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? How's it going? How's it going? Just
All right, all right.
Yeah, everything good, baby. You all right?
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Greasy, I see you repping them Lakers over there.
Shay Shay. Shay Shay a
Shay
Laker
Shay.
fan too.
You already know it. You already know it.
His boy is LeBron, man. I mean, that's his dog right there.
It was going down in the crypt last night. That's for sure.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Wow,
man.
happened last night.
Yeah. That's what
A lot of
happened when
people
you
don't like him though. A lot of people, man. I like Shay Shay, man.
I'm cool
Those
with
that
Shay
don't
Shay,
know,
man.
we talking about Shannon Sharp.
Yeah. I'm cool with him, man. Uncle Shay Shay.
Yeah.
So that boy was full of that Henny last night, though. I know it.
What side?
I would say,
$100
come talk to
seat.
me. Come talk to me. Come say it right here.
Might come a little closer.
Yeah. Shay Shay was on one last night, man.
He had a double last night. Yeah, let me get a double. Neat.
And that's the funny thing about it is that's kind of what I was like saying about Memphis, man. At the end of last week's show, it's like they got all the talent in the world, but I think the Lakers kind of proved if you get a router, they'll
collapse.
Yeah, they'll collapse. And that's exactly what the Lakers did last night. They kind of got in their head and what was it, 13, 15-point lead, and Lakers scored them 42-25 in the fourth.
Yeah.
And they lost that one.
They did. It was a good game though.
Choked that away.
Hey, I like how them Lakers are coming though. They still got some work to do. But that boy Ham is out there coaching, man. To get Russell Westbrook to buy in, come off that bench, got him playing that Ginobili role.
Yeah, and you know, he stuck to his strengths. You know, he's a slasher, like to get to the bucket instead of jacking up them threes. You know, that's what Westbrook does, and this is why at one point he was considered the best in the league. You know, he's a triple-double machine, you know, the rebounds, you know. He played reckless. And that's what I really like about it, the way he played.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I mean, I think what he's doing now and the way they got him coming off the bench, it more plays to his skill set because now he's more reserved. He's not having all the turnovers that he had before. You know, he's distributing the ball well. He's making it, you know, he's got the energy to get to the cup. So he's doing that. He's just overall playing a better game, man. And I think he's found his role. Like I was worried about him being out the league next year. But I think with him embracing this role, he's probably bought himself another 3-4 years, 5 years even in the league.
Yeah, because he's really not that old, you know.
Nah, he's what, 35, I think, 34?
Oh, he's that old? I was thinking more like 31, 32 or something.
Nah, he's about the same age as KD, Steph, all them. They kind of all came in around the same time.
Oh, okay.
Bought himself a little time.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. Surprisingly, though, let's just say you're a Lakers fan and you can see the future a little bit. Question to ponder. Anthony Davis is 100% healthy. LeBron's still playing at an extremely high level. Thomas Bryant is doing his thing. Russell Westbrook has accepted his role. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to pull off a Bradley Beal or a can't even think of his name right now, Buddy Hield type shooter to go along. Don't look like they're going to be able to pull that off. But if you're Lakers and you get a fully healthy Anthony Davis, Westbrook buying in, and you get the 8th seed, are you really afraid of the Denver Nuggets in the first round? I wouldn't be.
I don't think the Lakers are afraid of anybody, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter the matchup. I think they got enough veteran experience, and if they're 100% healthy going in the playoffs, they're going to be a challenge for anybody, whether it's 1 through 7. You know what I mean? So wherever they line up at, it's going to be a problem. You got LeBron, you got AD, you got Russ, and you got to keep in mind they got 3 starters out right now, and they lost their last 4 games by a combined 10 points. You know what I mean? So they got depth. They don't have the shooting that they need, but they're learning how to win despite the shooting that they're missing. And that's the key point is they're getting to the cup more. They're getting a lot of and ones going on too. They're hitting their free throws. They're rebounding. I mean, they're just playing good team basketball. So as long as they can keep those turnovers low, play good defense, man, I don't think anybody wants to see the Lakers. But I've been hearing your takes about the Denver Nuggets, and I don't think there's a team really in the West that you really can fear. You know what I mean? Because it's such an even playing field this year in the West that I think anybody can get beat on any given playoff series. You know what I'm saying? So I think everybody's ready to play everybody right now from what I'm seeing.
I think being a Laker fan, it's they beat the Nuggets as of lately without AD. The team I fear the most, and even when we won in the bubble, I didn't want to see that team because they just give us fits. And that season we won in the bubble, we had to beat them on last or game-winning shots. And then when they played a few weeks ago, it came down. The Dallas Mavericks. I don't want to see that. That's a nightmare matchup for the Lakers, the Mavericks. What can I say? Luka and Hardaway Jr. I don't want to see that. Yeah. It's just something about playing the Mavericks. Even as a kid, I think it was 87, playing that Maverick team. I didn't like that. It's just something about when the Lakers and Mavericks get together, the Mavericks gives us fits.
Sound like you still scarred from that sweep they did on Kobe back in the gap.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? I think when that feels last year. No. They had the brother coaching. He always get that goofy look, the one with the glasses.
Mike Brown. He's out there doing his thing in Sacramento right now. He's got Sacramento.
Sacramento. They just been killing us.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. It's just they're younger and that's the direction of the NBA. You got a lot of good young teams, and we still holding on to LeBron, and even though AD a youngster, and we got a few little youngsters like Kendrick Nunn, but we don't have marquee youngsters like the kid in Phoenix, or Devin Booker, or Moran, or something like that. These explosive youngsters.
Yeah,
we don't have that.
I feel that, but I think when the playoffs come around, they still got to show and prove. You know what I mean? I mean, Devin had his shot to win, and they fell short. Even on the East with Tatum and Brown, they fell short when they should have taken that series over with Golden State. So a lot of these youngsters still got to earn their stripes. Even with Luka, even with Jokic. There's still a lot of youngsters that got to earn their stripes. And right now, it's still going to lean to the veterans who know how to play in the playoffs when it comes down to a 7-game series and what they need to do. There's still a lot of immaturity from a lot of these players out there as far as how to close out. And I think that's where a team like the Lakers could benefit in the 7-game series.
Mm-hmm. Immaturity, the first thing that comes to mind is Memphis. And it's not so much Ja. Because Ja definitely, I guess by his game alone, he's kind of earned that right to be a little flamboyant and talk a little whatever, Mm-hmm. Just a new generation. But that Dylan Brooks, he first of all get a haircut. And second of all, I remember him at Oregon. He was nice and he made it to the league and he's on a good team and he's got the right pieces around him. But somebody told him he was nice like that, and I just don't see it. I think if you put him in a situation like, I don't know, the Rockets, they may be like trade bait or buried, 6th, 7th man on the rotation. You see what I'm saying? Bane is a little bit of an agitator. He tries to be Ron Artest, I guess. And then, of course, like I said, you got Steven Adams, big body. But, Memphis, like you were saying, I don't think – the West is wide open. The West is wide open. And the Clippers, that hadn't materialized. I remember when they first got Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and they had Pat Bev. That was supposed to be like some perimeter triangle of death, and that never materialized. Yep. Golden State, they won last night versus Cleveland, but they're like 2-15 15 on the road. And at some point, you got to win some ball games on the road. So the West is wide open. And you look up, the Lakers could very well just be standing there at the end of the day, which makes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're going to be battle tested. I like how the Lakers right now are allowing their bench to get a lot of quality minutes, because I think when AD comes back, when you get what's his name, Lonnie Walker back, and you get Austin Reeves back, those were all key players. Those were starters that started a good percentage of the game. So when they come back in and you got all these kids off the bench that know how to play, I think you're going to see a different Lakers team down the stretch. They can lean on AD heavy and still only have to worry about playing them about 30 minutes a game, unless the matchup dictates him needing to play more, because they have the balance coming off the bench that can handle the pressure now. I think that's what was missing in the beginning. So they're my sleeper. I picked them in the beginning of the season as a sleeper.
Yeah.
And then I went away from him just because I didn't know how Darvin Ham was going to be able to work all that stuff out. But he got him figured out, man. He's got Russell Westbrook playing well off the bench. And I think that was key, because now they can focus and they don't have those distractions anymore of what are you going to do with Westbrook. So,
right. He totally bought in.
Shout out to the Juice Man. He probably out there somewhere, but Juice Man said, man, Lakers ain't making the playoffs.
Yeah, he did. He did have that. He had that take out there. He had that take out there, man. And I think I had the Clippers and the Bucks. I think I had the Clippers and the Bucks. That Clippers thing, yeah. I was on that pack. It ain't happening.
Yeah, and what's going on with San Antonio? They like just dead last.
Yeah, they're in the Frenchie conversation. Everybody's looking at this Victor Wembanyama, or I can't even pronounce his name at the moment.
Yeah,
they're looking at him as the next unicorn. I see him as another Kristaps Porzingis. Structurally, guys like that see Chet Holmgren. Those feet and those ankles and
their brittle knees.
Yeah, the brittle knees and the toes and all this stuff. It's a rough game. Basketball is a rough game. The human body, it's a different context and a different contact than football. We all know football is a car crash, especially on the interior and defensive line. You can equate that to a car crash every single play. But no human body is meant to run and bounce and run and bounce. No knees, no feet, no toes, no ankles. I don't care how strong your legs are. It's just not, your body's just not meant to take that type of running and jumping. And especially with, Chet Holmgren and the Frenchman, it's just not a good look. I'm not sold on him. I like Scoot Henderson as a possible, he probably will end up being the best player in the draft. So, we're looking at that, and we're going to check that out. But the Spurs are definitely in the tank action. The Rockets are in the tank action. I would like to see Silas. That's Paul's son. I would like to see Steven get a little bit more run to see what's going on. But it seems like the Rockets are worse than they were last year. And Jabari Smith, here's the thing about him. He's looking for that consistency. He shows flashes of 20 and 10 is really going to be nothing for this guy when he figures it out, on a consistent basis. And he was only 18. You got to get this guy 2-3 years to really grow into his body and really just man up and just mature. And you can see this dude, he's 20 and 10. We all kind of had the feeling that Banchero would probably be an easier score at this point, but Jabari is way better defensively at this point. And if you can get stops and you can get that 20 and 10 on a consistent basis, and he's a pro player, so one night he's just going to have it. And as he gets older, that could easily turn into 25 and 12 and a first-team all-defender. I think Jabari is going to end up being a better player. But, the Spurs and the Rockets definitely head to front. Oklahoma City as well as far as tanking.
Well, Oklahoma City is been playing some boys real tough lately. I think they're holding on to number, 9 or 10 seed right now, somewhere around there. So they could potentially make the play-in. They're playing a whole lot better. Everybody had Oklahoma City as the potential to tank too, but I think they found a little something out there, man. They got a little chemistry going on, and they playing some teams real tough down the stretch. So you're gonna see what happens.
How do y'all feel about the play-in tournament? Do y'all agree with it, or?
I don't like the 7th seed having to be a part of it. I feel like if you did like 8, 9, 10, and 11 or something like that, but I see why they did 7 because with doing 7, it makes it keeps it more competitive. You usually think about that 11th seed being way far down the line or a big gap between their record and the 10th seed's record. But I think the 7th, I think they should do it by the differential of the games, like how many games up they are. So if you're a 7th seed, but you're say 6 to 10 games ahead of the 8th seed, I don't think you should have to be a part of that play-in. I think that should probably go to the 11th seed.
Shouldn't be no play-in at all if you that it's that big of a difference.
Yeah, exactly. So I like the idea of it. I think it's made it more competitive going into the playoffs. It makes the 7th and 8th seed really worth something. But then you also run that risk of having those, let's say a 10th seed makes it in at the 8th spot, and then you got to sweep in that first series against the 1 seed. So it's all about having the teams be more competitive. I like the idea of them playing in, but I just think it should be the 8th seed and below, if that's the case. And it depends on how many games in between them, I think. But I know that makes it all complicated, but
I'm gonna play bad cop to Big E's good cop. We'll have a lot of good cop, bad cop going on with the Game Heavy podcast. It's kind of in the pot right now. It's in the slow cooker right now. We have a lot of that going on. Of course, we're gonna have Greasy the Don and some other guests on there. But I'm gonna play bad cop on the situation. I don't like it. I think it was a money grab, and with the NFL going to the 18 weeks now and the super wild card, which by the way is nothing new. If you missed that tape, check out last night's episode. I think the NBA was just trying to create a March Madness type thing, and that's just not going to happen. These pros they're already paid. And our peak game, so to speak, I think it was Washington was in the playoff against Orlando. This is when Russell was still there. Russell's last year. No, it was Washington versus Indiana, a little playoff series. I think play-in tournament. What's it? 3 games, best out of 3. So I think Indiana won 1 game. No, Washington won the first game, and Wes put up this huge triple-double, and Indiana won the next game. And the prize was you get to play Milwaukee. You see what I'm saying? So you can kind of see it that Washington packed it in, and of course Indiana won, and then Indiana proceeded to get the brakes beat off of them by the Bucks. So I'm just going to play bad cop. I say leave it alone. You earn it during the regular season, and maybe you can get cut back on some of the sit downs and load management. Like you got to earn this type of thing, and until we see a real play-in tournament team just steamroll its way to the finals or just upset after upset after upset and get to the tournament, get to the excuse me, the finals, to make it an interesting finals, it's not going to stick. That's college basketball. That's what makes March Madness. And I don't see a team like Sacramento, let's just use them for example, pulling the AC and getting our way to the finals and giving the Boston Celtics or the Milwaukee Bucks a 5 or 6 or 6 or 7 game series. It's just not practical. In the NBA, and I say this all the time, in the NBA finals, I can't really think of a true upset. Like this team had no business being in the finals and they won the whole thing. It just doesn't happen because there's too many games. There's too many adjustments to be made. So I'm going to play bad cop on that one. You finish with the best record and leave the divisions alone too. Don't try to make this one big super division where the conferences don't matter. It's just like basically 1 through 16 and everybody do whatever. I heard they was talking about doing something with that. Leave it as it is. You get 82 games, figure it out. If you want to change the first round back to 5 and change the format 3-2-3 or whatever, however you want to do it, 2-2, 1-1-1, however you want to do it, that's cool. But as far as the play-in tournament, No, I'm not buying it because I'm too big of a college basketball fan. Don't make sense to me.
Yeah, it definitely works for the NFL with their as far as the wild card, because we've seen wild card teams make it all as recently Cincinnati. The Raiders being the first wild card team to win a Super Bowl. That was that 1980 season. So we, football is a different brand. Basketball is even, speaking about the college tournament, it's sad. TSU get in based on the little play-in tournament or a little play-in game, and here we go. You got to face Kansas or Kentucky, some dog in first. And I agree with you, Doc. Until we see somebody run the table from that, because, well, it's only year two. Can somebody do it? As Ian was speaking, the Lakers, because they had that pedigree with LeBron and AD, being champions, and Westbrook, and Pat Bev, some vets, so they could possibly do it. But until we see it do it, or until we see it happens, it's almost like a waste of time. But who knows? Maybe year two, we'll see it go down and see somebody make some noise and knock out a big dog, and like, man, we did not see that coming. So,
I would. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think how they should change it, though, is maybe do just the 8th and the 9th seed. You know what I mean? Instead of having, because I don't think the 7th seed should have to be a part of that, because I feel like they earn their stripes. But if you have like the 8th and the 9th seed play in, that one game, I don't think it draws it out for a couple of days, or, having to have the 7 play to 10 and the 8 play to 9, and then they have to play each other to get the 8th seed. That's too much. But a quick play in with the 8 versus the 9 seed to see who's going to get that 8th spot, I think is something that would be workable for the NBA.
I think that's an excellent transition. I would jump into a little bit of the Eastern Conference, but we're on a little bit of a time frame here. Got big playoff games coming up today in the NFL. What I did not see, well, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to stick with my original stance. I did not see Bethune Cookman giving Ed Reed the chopping block so quickly. And this is a topic where it was so interesting and so good and so deep and so many layers to be peeled back. We ran it twice with the Deion Sanders situation. Ed Reed didn't even have time to sit down and unpack his ham sandwich. Gone.
Get a cup of coffee in and nothing.
Gone.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather always used to tell me, I'm sure some of y'all grandfathers and elders in your family told you the same thing. Where there's smoke, it's a fire somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might be able to convince me. Oh, Deion just this, Deion this, this about the HBCU. But now we have another prominent Hall of Famer caliber football player going to HBCU. And he's saying the same thing. Except Deion is a little more camera seasoned. You got to remember, Deion was on NFL Network 6, 7, 8 years. He was on ESPN, Monday Night Football. Deion's been all over. Ed, he'll show up every now and then, but Ed got that Louisiana dog in him. And he just got up there and he was like, hey, I'm just going to tell y'all. And I saw it on Instagram this morning. And it's alarming to hear him say that there's some evil people roaming these universities that don't care nothing about kids. And it's not about, in this particular situation, it's not, to me, it's not even about an HBCU or a PWI. Anytime you have institutions that are basically pocketing and pooling monies that's supposed to go for student athletes, or even, programs for kids that are picking up trades or kids that are trying to get the degree, it's disgusting and it's sickening. And but since I am African American, I think it's only fair to say something is incredibly, something smells real bad with the HBCUs. And I don't want to throw all of them in there because I don't know all of the situation. Grew up a thumb in the wind from basically Prairie View A&M. Never really thought about going there. That's not here or there. But anytime, like I said, you have two of them now saying something's wrong with the mentality, something's wrong with the culture, something's wrong with the people that the bookkeepers, the bookkeepers, the people that get The Godfather and Al Capone, those people that get, if you catch that guy, you can basically put the mob boss in prison. Something's wrong with the bookkeepers. And for him to walk around a university and say that there's a black university, that there's rooms and rooms just full of junk. Just junk.
Mm-hmm.
The grounds haven't been picked up nor cleaned up. His office is in shambles or didn't even clean it up. And I made a point the other day, when the brother leave, and Dion went to Colorado, PWI told him, we don't even got $5 million. So I bet we get it. And when Dion first walked in that office, he had a skybox, it looked like, looking all over the mountains and looking all, I was like, they took care of him. You see? So I have a problem with the naysayers and the detractors and like, stop hiring this and that. No, if you don't want the people coming in plucking your diamonds, take better care of the diamonds. And that's all I got to say about this situation.
That's right.
Yeah, I agree 100%. 100%.
That's straight facts right there,
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's unfortunate that it has to get exposed in this manner because there's so much that HBCUs still have to offer that's not even pertaining to just football. But we know that football is it drives money into institutions, and a lot of students pick where they go to school off of how the games go, how the team performs, things of that nature, unless they have a specific degree that they're going for. But it's all about that social experience of going to the games, the step shows, all of that, all the tailgating, all of that stuff is a part of the atmosphere that they bring in. So when you have a high profile person from the NFL, such as Ed Reed or Deion Sanders come and they shed light on that, I just hate that they always try to pivot away and make it about them and what their expectations are versus what needs to happen in these institutions to get them on the right track. And that's kind of what my main gripe about them is that, hey, we got to figure out a way to change this culture. And it's going to take a collective. It's not something that they can do just one university at a time. I think it's going to be something that, I don't know if it's from a federal standpoint or whatever the case may be, definitely got to put more emphasis on it from a state level as well, since these are state-funded institutions. They need to start tracking the money, seeing where it's going, and just getting better facilities, better grounds kept, more security, all of that to these institutions, man, so they can eventually grow to where they're supposed to be, because I feel like they're still batting about, at least 40, 50 years behind the curve in some of these institutions. So
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I texted fellas, Mississippi Valley State, that field, and I'm like, we supposed to play a game on this?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the grass wasn't cut. This is football. The grass ain't cut, and somebody gonna get hurt out there on that thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're right. A lot of these are state funded, and the state really needs, maybe that can open up a job opportunity or job opportunities with these states. Someone needs to monitor this because it's getting out of hand. But another thing is, if I'm hiring a guy of this caliber, Ed Reed, when you come there, we need to hire a groundskeeper. Somebody to keep the facility, the whole institution clean, and we need somebody to handle the field, baseball and football. We need those people.
Simple
and
as that.
Then this guy walk in his office, I need this cleaned up. Make it nice. How hard is it to put some money into the budget?
Not.
Or take from the budget to buy some new office furniture and get this right.
Come on, man, that's a tax write-off. Go on down there to Hobby Lobby and go on down there to whatever. What I don't know if they got what Rent Center or Aaron's or whatever. Come on, man. That's a tax write-off, man. Go on tell them folks you gonna get them $75 a week for 6 months and go on deck that office off, and then when you finish paying it off under your business credit, write it off. Come on, man. I know that.
I don't know why. I hate to say this about my people. It's so hard to do the right thing. I don't get that. Why is it so damn hard?
I don't get it. I made a comment. Hold on just 1 second, Big E. Didn't mean to cut you off. I made a comment the other day. I said, I bet you Deion office was clean. And I bet you if you went to Tuscaloosa and Athens, Georgia, I bet you Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, I bet their office was spick and span and everything else. And you can't get in their office at halftime because Sheriff Roscoe's sitting there with 2 12 gauges and 2 rock wallets. You can't get in there. But at university, at HBCUs, like you said, the grounds ain't picked up. You got whoever walking around. Hey man, find some kids around the unit. Find some kids. You know, find some youth. Give them a job.
There you go.
Give them a job. You gotta take care. You're an employer, for crying out loud. Hey man,
none of the kids can cut grass.
None of them kids can cut grass. Come on, man. I know why my first experience with a lawnmower was at probably 10 or 11 years old. So
I seen Mr. Jones put you to work out.
Yeah. So long as keep your foot away from the blade. If it run out of gas, don't be messing with the blade. I'll put gas in and all that, but other than that, you're gonna push. So you can have a hard time convincing me that that's not 13, 14, 15-year-old kids that ain't got nothing to do other than find some trouble to get into. They'd be like, hey man, I can't give you $30 an hour, but if you come cut this grass, man, come cut this field and pick up around and say, man, it may take you all day Saturday, but you want to make $250? You see what I'm saying? You got to take care of them. Don't work them like slaves, $5 an hour where they didn't clean the hole. Don't give them $50. Come on, man.
I mean, you have a lot of students that like work.
Yeah.
Like they RA, you know, they work amongst the campus.
Yeah, you can't ask your head coach. Come on, man, let's just be real, man. Jimmy Johnson and Lou Holtz and Pete Carroll was not walking around with their students picking up trash and taking care of the Coliseum, and it's just sad, bro. I agree with you, Greasy. We just can't, and then that's why I don't even. Negroes stop blaming white folks for everything.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna take it biblical. Yeah. You know, black folks always want to reference something with God in the Bible. Cleanliness is close to holiness.
That's it.
Let's do this. Come on.
Come on, man. Yeah, like I said, at some point you gotta stop. At some point you gotta stop saying the white man. Come on, man.
You gotta start doing this at some point.
Yeah. Accountability.
Start pointing at yourself.
Yeah. Need more accountability, that's for sure. And leadership starts from the top. You gotta lead by example. So if they're not doing that, you can't get mad at it. You know, this is what it's gonna be. So
and see, I'm not mad. Like we had a whole show with the HBCUs, you know, more black kids. That's why our kids don't go. That's why our generation don't want our kids done. Yeah. You know, it's like, bruh, we got to do better out here. We got to do better, man. It's pain. Man, like Doc said, the man didn't even get to unpack. I mean, come on. He didn't get his sandwich out.
Exactly. And he was already out there picking up trash on the grounds before he even got a contract. You know, so you can't say he wasn't.
I wonder if they're gonna pay him for that.
They need to. They need to.
Got him 100 or something.
Yeah, for real. So
yeah, man. Like I said, and don't be trying to, railroad the young men and work them like, Chicken George and all that, and offer them a pizza and $50. Now I'm gonna take care of them, because at the end of the day, it's a tax write-off. And I heard Willie D was speaking on this when the situation when Deion first came out. He said he know personally somehow he found out. I don't know. maybe he had a couple shows there. Maybe some of people he worked with him on his music at the time, whatever promoters and whatnot were higher ups at some of these HBCUs, and he said the same thing. So now we got Deion. Deion didn't say that they were evil, but what he said, it was some evil people running these black universities. And now we got Reeves saying there's some evil people running these black universities, and they just don't care. So it's something going on at the top, like Big E say, and at the end of the day, they putting profits before these kids, and they basically selling their soul, and they're not going to change. So we can talk about, let's just put this in context. We talk about how basically the Constitution was written, 240, 250 years ago, and we're basically still trying to run this country as if it's 1776 or whatnot. It's time for a new politic, a new style, maybe a new party, something. But you can't have Nancy Pelosi and McCain. McCain been in office since the 60s. Got pictures of him with the Grand Wizards, and Pelosi was, in cahoots with Reagan. We know what Reagan did to the minority community and what he did with the colleges and all that stuff. And basically, black folks was going to college at the same rate as white folks was going. So Reagan jacked up the rates and you had to pay it back. We don't even want to get in all that. But in the same token, maybe we have some African Americans that are running on some of the same politics, and they came in like in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and they passed it down to their bloodline. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Write this off. Write this off. Write this off. And think I saw Ed Reed talking today, and looked like he wanted to go there. And I don't know if it was planned or not, but somebody held up a phone. Prime was calling. He was like, "I know you know what they want you to do. Don't go there." And I think me and Big E discussed this, and we discussed this on our Prime show. And I feel strongly about this. One thing Jackson State did not want to do was get into a big mouth contest with Deion because they would lose, and the FBI would be in Jackson, Mississippi within 24 hours. And I think Ed was about ready to go there.
Yeah. And
so they got him on up out of there. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. They didn't even, Ed didn't even get the chance to coach his first game. You see what I'm saying? And Deion was like, basically, big bro, I'll fly down there if you need me, but you need to let this be. Bow out gracefully. It's something bigger. What that is going on at these HBCUs, I don't know, bro. I really don't know. But I'm with you 100%, my man. Breezy the Don, my man, I'm with you 100%. It's just accountability, because it's not about the talent. And this is just strictly from a sports perspective. And also, the mental. Like, some of the most creative and some of the most intelligent have been African Americans throughout the history. There's no America without Black America, Black history. So you don't like what I said, you got your feelings about that. But we speaking straight on. We're gonna keep it on sports on this particular topic. It's not about the athletes, and it's not about the resources, because you can go to any small town in America, and you probably can find, in a town of 25,000 plus, you can probably find 3 to 5 Division I athletes, just natural. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily about us not having athletes to fill the Bethune Cookmans and the Jackson States with our athletes. But when you get there and you're not taking care of the coaches and things that are PWI, which like this is standard, and you're not kicking back the bowl revenue, and they don't have the facilities, and they don't have the meal program, and you're shaving money off ticket sales and NIL deals, and possibly not even telling some of the athletes about NIL deals that they possibly have. It's sickening. It's gonna be honest. It's sickening. To me, it is. I don't know how anybody else feels.
As Bethune Cookman, I would have took it as constructive criticism, and I wouldn't have let Ed go or out the door, because as we saw with Deion, both sides are going to benefit from it. You're going to increase ticket sales, and they're going to benefit. Everybody going to be happy, joy. Mm-hmm. But now, go and get a SWAT coach, and things going to stay the same. because he's not this polarized Hall of Fame figure. So things gonna stay the same, and you're gonna continue to waddle in your mess, basically.
Waddle on the mediocrity and the discontent of all the players, and there needs to be an overhaul of the complete system when it comes to anything to do athletic wise and even just institution wise with HBCUs, man. I mean, it's unfortunate how this same theme keeps reoccurring. And I think everybody's on board to see HBCUs become successful. And like we say, Deion Sanders did leave a blueprint of how to bring attention and top athletes to these institutions. But if they're not willing to make the changes that are needed to be made to nurture these athletes and have these athletes get to that next level that they're trying to get to, and then they can turn around and give back to the institutions, then what are we doing? What are we doing? I can't get mad at anybody that wants to take their talents to a PWI if you're going to not do anything for their facilities that's going to help them benefit going forward. So
right. I mean,
it's unfortunate, man.
It is
terrible this year in football. So, they bottom feeders.
Yeah. I just I know Eddie George is where's Eddie George? Real quick.
Tennessee State.
Tennessee State. Wonder I'm about to check him out, man, and see what he's got going on. But Deion definitely he left the blueprint and Ed was willing to follow, but I think we know the difference between Deion. Deion's kind of like, yeah, I know I'm a high commodity, and I'm gonna say this gracefully, and I'm gonna say, like, if you really want me to say what's going on, I can, but I'm not. Ed gonna pretty much ask you what the is going on. You see what I'm saying? He's gonna tell you what it is, and he's gonna keep it pushing. You see what I'm saying? And they just wasn't with that. Hopefully, I would like to see the movement go down too. I really would like to see the movement go down. And maybe that's part of the reason why the alumni don't give back. It's because the higher up is doing so dirty while they're there. I'm like, well, you figure it out on your own, which it's a cycle. It's just going to basically cause the higher ups to keep more money.
And we still got some big names at the HBCUs.
HBCUs, man. I want to
Ron Wheatley, he coaching.
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson. We still got some folks out there.
But they're at the institutions that are taking care of their business, though.
Hello. I ain't heard them say anything.
Yeah.
Bethune Cookman, they bottom feeders in football. So, hey, I just had to hit the Google button, and even though they're in the SWAC, I had to figure out where the hell they at. I know what Florida A&M is, but come to find out, they're in a beautiful part of the country at Daytona Beach, Florida. What the problem is?
Yeah,
beautiful weather, the culture, beautiful weather, beaches,
spring break,
a gold mine for talent. If you really want to get real about it, come on, man. You shouldn't.
No reason why they shouldn't have about 15, 20 top athletes out of Florida coming to their university every year.
That's what would have happened.
That's what would have happened. I think some of these cats in those positions been getting that money off the top so long that it's jealousy. Number one, they probably wasn't good enough to go ball out the way Prime and Ed did, and they don't want the shine to go away from what they're doing, what their name is in the paper for, compared to now the football program's doing good. And if you're that type of jealous, God forbid that those kids actually start graduating. Then now you look really bad because you've been in this seat and you're educated and you went and got all these degrees and all this stuff and all these plaques on the wall. And then here comes some Hall of Fame football player you got your nose up at, and he's got the football team doing good. And now these players are also graduating at a top rate.
One more thing.
Man.
Guess what Bethune Cookman's graduation rate is?
I don't even want to guess.
33%.
See?
Ooh, that's horrible.
See?
Horrible.
You're not even a 50.
Yeah. That's
what the hell going on? What King Dre?
What the hell going on? Yeah, where King Dre is? Where's King Dre? What's going on? We need King Dre to do an episode. We got to get in this.
This just put the cherry on top with this man talking. If y'all don't give a damn about the grounds, what makes me think you give a damn about the kids when your graduation rate is 33%?
There you go. There you go. That's what that is. But that's what it is, man. It's been a good show. This is the Just North Sports Show. Y'all know where to check it. Y'all follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share the page. We appreciate all the love, all the comments, all the views. Everybody checking us out, man. We appreciate that love, definitely, for sure. And it is a beautiful playoff Saturday. Jacksonville and KC gonna get down, and then got Philadelphia and the Broad Street Bullies. They gonna take on the G-Men, Metropolis, and we're gonna see what it do. We're gonna see what it do. And then tomorrow got Buffalo and Cincinnati, and we got the big one everybody waiting on. We got the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. Big E is repping his gear, so we appreciate all the love. And I just want to put that out there for Big E, man. I want to put that out there for you to get a grasp of it. I want to make sure.
Aren't you a Commanders fan?
I want to make sure he can see that. Make sure
touchdown 49ers.
Make sure he can see that. But now it's gonna be a good game, man. But I appreciate y'all time, man. I appreciate y'all jumping in, man. And we'll catch y'all next time. Y'all be easy.